gathered in your name, calling out to you. Your glory like a fire, awakening desire will burn our hearts with truth. You're the reason we're here. You're the reason we're singing. Open up the heavens, we want to see you. Open up the floodgates, a mighty river flowing, filling every part of our praise. Yeah. Presence in this place, your glory on our face. We're looking to the sky. Descending like a cloud, you're standing with us now. Lord, unveil our eyes. You're the reason we're here. You're the reason we're singing. Open up the heavens, we want to see you. Open up the floodgates, a mighty river flowing from your heart, filling every part of our praise. Let's sing that again. Open up the heavens. Open up the heavens, we want to see you. Open up the floodgates, a mighty river flowing from your heart, filling every part of our praise. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Show us your power. Show us. Is that your prayer this morning? You'll see him, Jesus Christ. He wants to see you this morning. Here we go. Show us your glory. Show us your power. Show us your glory, Lord. Open up the heavens, we want to see you. Open up the floodgates, a mighty river flowing from your heart, filling every part of our praise. Let me hear you sing. We want to see you. Show us your glory. I think you can do just a little bit better. Here we go. Open up. Filling every part of our praise. Amen.
Good morning. How's everyone this morning? Enjoying the sunshine? Finally, I think we're getting it 4 or 5 days in a row of sunshine. Opportunity to do all those things outside that you haven't been able to do, like golf, Rod. Yeah. If you must, you must. Yeah. Well, welcome everyone to our gathering today, and a special welcome to our online viewer friends that are watching us through Skype or whatever other means that we have available, as well as our friends at Cogeco. For anybody that might be joining us for the first time today as well, a special welcome to you. We hope that you find your time with us enriching and rewarding. And if you haven't done so, we have a welcome desk out in the foyer, and we encourage you to visit the desk, sign up, and we have a bit of a gift for you as well. So I saw Barb out in the foyer, and she was glowing. Rumor has it that she's glowing for a very specific reason. And Hannah, would you be able to shed any light on that? Congratulations to Hannah and Clint.
About time.
That's about time. Prompting from the studio audience. How did he do it? I don't know. How did you do it, Clint? Yeah. Story for another day. Yeah. We'll hold you to that. Just wait. But again, congratulations. Let's come together to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to be here today in your presence. It's a wonderful day. We've just been provided some wonderful news about Hannah and Clint. So, Father, the way that you work in our lives is glorious. There are times when we're down, there are times when we're high, but you're there with us through all of those times. We don't always have an opportunity to be with you as often as we should, but these mornings do present an opportunity for us to be in your house, here with you, an opportunity to hear your word in both sermon and in song, an opportunity to draw closer to you, an opportunity to reflect on the week's events and what lies ahead of us, and an opportunity to put ourselves in the right place relative to those events. So, Father, as we gather here today, we just ask that you be with Wayne and the praise team, and Wayne as he provides the sermon to us today. And Father, again, we just thank you for the opportunity to be here in your Son's precious name. Amen. A few announcements. I was looking at the Fall Fair sign-up sheet, and if I counted correctly, and I have a tendency to count correctly, there are 64 opportunities to serve for the Fall Fair, and only 30% of those opportunities have been accounted for. So if you've been thinking about it, or if you've been delaying putting your name on the board, by all means, check out the board in the foyer after the service and put your initials by, well, actually your name, your phone number, email address, firstborn, etc., so that we can fill those slots and ensure that the organizers aren't scrambling around at the last minute to fill those slots. And speaking of Fall Fair, there is a Fall Fair meeting today after today's service for the organizers. What else do we have going here? Sports night, as always, on Wednesday nights. Looking at the long-range forecast, it's supposed to be a great night this Wednesday, so a perfect opportunity to come out and sweat a little bit. And you'll also note in the this week's handout that we got Lights, Camera, Action Day Camp happening on August the 20th. They're still looking for contributions of watermelon, plums, apples, and cantaloupes. So if that's something that you can help out with, you can contact Sherry directly or through her email at sherry@nbbc.ca. And I think that's it for the announcements. There's not a lot of them. You all got one of these, so you can read it at your own discretion. Wayne, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? So normally, Wayne is the one speaking, but today he asked me to speak in front of people. Yeah, not something I normally like to do. So please bear with me, I'll try my best. So last week, Wayne talked about getting real with God, and I would like to read a verse that goes alongside with that. So in Psalm 139, 23 to 24, it says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life." This verse is like a prayer that we can say to God when we come to him with our masks off and reveal our true selves, like our brokenness, our sinfulness, and our selfishness. And it's when we lay those things down before him and surrender everything that we are, that's when God can finally start to shape and mold us and to be more like him. So today I'd like to encourage everybody to say this prayer and to take their masks off and to be real with God and other people. So please join us as we sing Oceans. call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail, and there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours and you are mine. Oh, you're mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you've never failed and you won't start now. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours and you are mine. Oh, you are mine. Oh. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me, and take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. And take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves.
This next song, I just want you to sit and listen to the words. It talks about being real. And we're the incarnation of God's Spirit to the earth. The first time through a virgin, and now through our new birth. And just as Jesus spoke and walked and revealed the God above, and we are called to walk His steps to reveal the Father's love. So here am I, send me. Allow me to reveal your love to those who cannot see, to the ones who long to hear your voice. In your name help me to speak, to those who need to feel your touch. In your power help me to reach. Here am I, send me, send me. We're Christ's body on the earth. The Spirit unifies to make His presence tangible. His grace and gifts supplies. And through our corporate unity, we disclose the saving grace. And by our care and through our touch, they encounter His embrace. Here am I, send me. Allow me to reveal your love to those who cannot see, to the ones who long to hear your voice. In your name help me to speak, to those who need to feel your touch. In your power help me to reach. Here am I, send me,
Send me.
send me. How long must the world await to sense your presence here? How long till the church arise to love and shake off fear? How long must the world await to sense your presence here? How long till the church arise to love and shake off fear? Sing with me. Here am I, send me. Allow me to reveal your love to those who cannot see, to the ones who long to hear your voice. In your name help me to speak, to those who need to feel your touch. In your power help me to reach. Here am I, send me, send me. Send me, Lord. At this time, we're going to ask if the ushers will prepare to come and take up our tithes and offerings, and we have one more song. This song is called Only King Forever, and you can stand for it. Here we go. Our God and firm foundation, our rock, the only solid ground. the nations rise and fall. Kingdoms once strong, now shaken. We trust forever in your name. Where? The name of Jesus. We trust the name of Jesus. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. Unmatched in all your wisdom, in love and justice you will reign. Every knee will bow. We bring our expectations, our hope is anchored in your name. The name of Jesus, it's under his name. We trust the name of Jesus. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are victorious. Lift our banner high. We lift our banner high. We lift the name of Jesus. From age to age you reign. Your kingdom has no end. We lift our banner high. We lift the name of Jesus. From age to age you reign. Your kingdom has no end. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. Amen. You can have a seat. Sing the first verse again.
Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Holy, holy is He. Sing a new song to Him who sits on heaven's mercy seat.
Let's sing the first verse one more time. Worthy.
Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Holy,
Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. Golden rainbows of living color, flashes of lightning, rolls of thunder. Blessing and honor, blessing and honor, strength and glory and power be to you, the only wise King. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. Filled with wonder.
All right, well, how I thought we would start. Last week we talked about, how's everybody doing, by the way? I know that's emotional, isn't it? To connect with somebody that you love, to see that is hurting in some ways, but honestly, when I'm there with Mary Lynn, and Nancy's been there and a few others, there's such a joy to go be with her. So I would challenge you, even if you're depressed today and you think you have nothing to offer, go see somebody that has the joy of the Lord in them. Whatever your experience is with Mary Lynn in the past, I'm urging you to go see her. She has a word from God for you, I'm sure. All right? So do that. It was emotional for me to go in there because my mom had passed in a hospice 3 or 4 years ago. So walking in there was a lot of memories. So it was difficult for me. But after my time with Mary Lynn, it was a time of healing for me even, and a time of joy. This morning we want to talk about joy. And this joy that we can even experience in difficulty or hardship. And I know some of you know what I'm going to talk about. But what I want us to do this morning is to experience it. To experience the joy of the Lord, no matter what your circumstance, no matter what your family is happening on in your family or your workplace. The joy of the Lord is unending because Jesus himself is unending. So if you have your mobile devices, we want to have a little bit of fun this morning, even if you have a BlackBerry. If you pull it out, and if you're connected to Wi-Fi, our Wi-Fi password is MERV1234. So all lowercase, MERV 1234. You can connect to NBBC Guest or NBBC. There's 2 Wi-Fis. I've changed the password for the office Wi-Fi, so only today will you have access to NBBC. If it doesn't work, switch to your data. That's all I can tell you. And if you're running both, sometimes there's a conflict, so turn off your cellular and join Wi-Fi, or do the opposite. Only do data and turn off your Wi-Fi. So if we can put the Kahoot screen up. If you log into on Safari or Google, kahoot.it, so KAHOOT.it, you'll go to a website. We have questions. Yes. Lowercase, yes. Lowercase MERV 1234. You want to log into kahoot.it, KAHOOT.it. Once you do that, you're going to type in this PIN number 308046 on a screen that looks like that green screen. Don't fret if you're not able to do this. I'm just going to keep pushing us through, and if you can't do it, well, you can join by using your hand or whatever later on. The simple way. So enter your game PIN and then enter a username. You can use your real name if you want. Your name will pop up on the screen in a second, so use something that is appropriate. And we should see some names start popping up on the screen. So we got quite a few. Here we go. So while you do that, I want to intro what we're going to talk about today. Last week we talked about this big idea that when we are real with ourselves, God, and others, that's when we can truly reflect Jesus. So when we are fake, in the opposite sense, it is difficult for us to represent Jesus in his truest form. Now, over the years, I, as a churchgoer, have found ways to represent Jesus in my fakeness, believe it or not. There's ways to do this. And I think a lot of us, in certain areas in our lives, we have found ways to present ourselves in who we really aren't in the inside. So what I want to talk about today is our inward self. And eventually we're going to talk about the joy of the Lord being an inward reality and our value of enthusiasm being the expression of our inward joy. Because honestly, if we were to evaluate the health of a church, if they were following Jesus Christ, it would be through the value of enthusiasm, the expression of Jesus Christ as our joy, our pure joy. So we're going to talk about that. So we got lots of names up here. So we're going to get started. If you haven't been able to get on, you can still read the questions and answer on here. But we're going to see how well we know this church. So if we can press start there, Patrick. The first question will come up on the screen, and then on your mobile device will be 4 quadrants, and you can answer them on there. So what is the acronym for this church? 4 answers here on the bottom. And on your screen, you'll see the shape and the color, and you can press it anytime you know. You have 5 seconds left to press. All right, 17 got it right. NBBC. Next question. Next. Oh, Mrs. Dewey in the lead. Who is this senior? Merv's away, so we get to do this. Who is the senior pastor? And there's a little hint on the screen. Once everybody has answered, it will go on to the next question. But you have 5 seconds. All right. Sherry or somebody. Sherry is now, there's 1 vote for Sherry. That's great. Next question. I think I know who that was. How many hanging lights are in the sanctuary? You have 20 seconds. It's 5 seconds to answer. It kind of was a trick question. 18, don't forget these hanging lights up here on the stage. Oh, that was a tricky one. Next. Maybe there is, I don't know. What is our NBBC value statement? Value statement. You can read those. You have 5 seconds to answer. Yeah. 22, very good. Next. What is the acronym REAL? All right, you have 5 seconds to answer. Next question, 24, very good. Mrs. Dewey still in the lead. Where are you right now? The faster you answer, the more points you get, by the way. I'll let you know that halfway through, yeah. Where are you right now? What's the best answer? The computer's marking it for us. That's the nice thing. If you get multiple answers in a row, you also get bonus points. So. Okay, 11 said church. Interesting. Building where the church has gathered. Interesting. Next. What is our mission? Again, the best answer. There are, of course, several could be correct answers, but what's the best answer? 17, 18 answers come in, 19 answers, 20. Wow, it's quite a few people playing. That's great. 22, 24. 5 seconds left. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Next. God's mission is our mission. Okay, it's tricky. Not really, but what is Merv's opening phrase to the sermons? I'll just have you know I did not come up with the answers and stuff, so if you're blaming somebody. Well, it was me, actually, yeah. 5 seconds. All right. Wow, almost everybody. That's great. Next, we got somebody else that's funny here. All right, only a few more. We got 5 more questions. What is the average attendance at NBBC Sunday? Can you guess? So over the year, we averaged last year. What was the average attendance? Yep, everybody that comes through the doors. Sorry. Not everybody got time to do it, but 10. That's great. 149 is the average. Next. What is AMCG? All right, very good, everybody. Next, a few more here. What is a missional community group? So what do they do? Or who are they? Wow, lots of fast answers there. That's great. Yeah, exactly. Not everybody knows, but they will know after. All right, 24 answers. I think that's almost everybody. I think I saw 20. Oh, there's more. 5 seconds. Oh, everybody answered. Good. All right, next. Who is this? Nobody say it out loud. Mary Bethune, yeah. Oh, I did too. All right, very good. Next. And so everybody does know you. What was the sermon series before Romans? Don't let the picture trick you. What was the sermon series before Romans? I know that was a long time ago. So just before we started summer, we ended with the series on sermon series, yeah. No. Yeah, no, not 18 years ago. Just this past year. What was the sermon series before? Sorry. That threw people off. Perfect. Great. And I think we have one. Is there one more? Oh, we got 2 more. What is the 3-headed monster at NBBC? So Merv always refers this to the headed monster. 3 more people to answer. 2 more. 5 seconds. One more. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Cheeky, everybody. You're very cheeky. So Merv refers to the leadership levels as the three-headed monster. Next. How many people, last question, how many people typically attend the fall fair on average, whether it's raining or not? So what's your best guess? And then we'll reveal who. Oh, everybody answered. Very good. 1,300 is correct. So next. So we have Mrs. Dewey. Well, I can't imagine who that is. Super Sam. Very good. And then whoever Durrell is. Yeah, fixed. Yeah. I do have to admit, we did test this survey out during the week with a few people. So that was good fun. Hope you had fun doing that. And some of the young people said, not Kahoot, because I guess every class they go to in school now uses this Kahoot thing online. But feel free to use it. You can set up your own games and use it in a party or whatever you want to do to have some fun. So this morning, not only did I want to have fun, but I wanted to take some opportunity to develop our core values. So not too long ago, we took a look at the core values that we had splashed up on that long white wall in the foyer. And we looked at them and we realized a lot of people didn't understand what they meant. They used some big words. And in some respects, some of them were unachievable or misunderstood, or not that they were bad, but we wanted to come up with some core values, not of just who we wanted to be, but who we are and where we want to be. And so we came up with a lot of core values, and this is the statement we came up with was real people reflecting Jesus. I think in essence, the staff and the board thought, what does our next generation, or what is our communities, our neighborhoods, our workplaces really looking for? What do they need? And I think the word real came up a lot of times. That we would be real people, which means not fake, but to be genuine, authentic, vulnerable, as Mary Lynn even was this morning in her weakness and her sickness, to be vulnerable. So these are the core values that we came up with. These are, and I want to dive into the first two. I'm only going to be about 10 minutes this morning, believe it or not. You can hold me to it. The first value is relevant. Now, when most people see the word relevant, they think they have to conform to culture to be cool. Like that teenage boy, that teenage girl that is trying to enter into this cool crowd, they need to be relevant. So they need to be cool or conform. And so they adapt the practices and the things of culture. This is not what we mean by relevant. Relevant is far more than that. Also, businesses themselves these days try to stay relevant. And how do they do that? The first thing they come up with is, how do we stop from becoming irrelevant? As a business, how do we stop from becoming irrelevant? So to conform to the culture or the lifestyle is not the way that we mean to be relevant. Never in our attempt to be people reflecting Jesus, in our attempt to be relevant, should we distort or confuse Jesus' message. See, sometimes when we adapt to the practices of culture, it actually is countercultural to what Jesus is talking about. So by relevant, we don't mean to adapt to culture or to conform to culture. So what do we mean when we say that we want to be relevant? Well, here's one question. How does something become irrelevant? How does a business become irrelevant to culture and slip in the marketplace? Well, some would say that the speed of change on the inside of the business is not as fast as the speed of change on the outside of the business. So a business becomes irrelevant when it cannot keep up to the pace of the marketplace. That would probably be in some conversation about a business trying to stay relevant. One problem is that change is so fast these days, right? I mean, the next technical thing that you buy from the store is going to be out of date in no time. We've all experienced this. The second problem is that, most of us want change. But do we really like change? I mean, even in a theological sense, we wrestle with the fact that God is a God who never changes. His message, his truth, is always the same. So the church, or we as his people, should always be the same yesterday, today, and forever. However, if you're still breathing, you know that change is inevitable. And where there is change, there's growth, potential for growth. You see, there is no growth without change, and that there is no change without loss. No loss without pain, and no pain without grief. Perhaps if you want to be relevant, then you need to be a good griever. Last week we talked about putting off and taking on. And so, in part, to be relevant is to be a good griever, to decide what to put off, decide what to put on. I searched Google the other day, and I typed in the word relevant and the word church. And you know what popped up? Oxymoron. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, what popped up was pictures, images of relevant churches. Like, no kidding. There are at least 100 in the United States, mostly, 100 churches called Relevant Church. I mean, maybe this is in response to what we feel our culture is looking for, a relevant church. I mean, if change is inevitable and continuous, how are we as a church or a people of God going to keep up with change? I mean, we have two options. We can certainly try. We can adapt. We can change our programs to be the hippest, and we can expense a lot of energy and money into technology, making our space look great. We can spend lots of money to enhance your missional community groups and allow you to have street parties and to have music on your streets. And we can do a lot to try to be hip and cool, to be relevant. Well, here's a question for you. What never changes in our culture of change? People will always be dealing with parenting, addiction, and grief. People will always be dealing with joy and celebration and new life. So maybe to be relevant is to be related to these things. To be skilled in these things that in our culture never change. If I asked you if you thought Jesus was relevant to his culture, to individuals, to the religious leaders of his day, to the nations of that time, what would you say? You see, relevance is not resembling culture, nor is it about being relatable, so adjusting yourself so you can be understood. Well, that's important. Relevance, our core value of relevance is being related to. It's funny, I looked up in the thesaurus for relevant, and the first words were related to. I was like, what a concept. That being relevant means to be related to. So rather than changing our programs or how or who we might be, what if it was just that we know the other? That we are related to our coworkers. That we are related to our neighbors. That we are related to our family. In order to be relevant with Jesus Christ, we must be related to. So our first core value, relevant, is not the idea that we need to change everything to be hip, to conform to culture. But our value of relevant means we must be related to. Does that make sense? We value as a church to be more and more related to. And doing so, we'll be relevant with Jesus. That's our first core value of relevant. I had a lot more to say on that, but we're going to keep it to that. So the first core value, relevant, related to. All right? The second core value is enthusiastic. Now, when a lot of people think about enthusiasm in church, that's a difficult thing to think about sometimes. But there can be. But what I want to say is enthusiasm is not the constant. When we chose this value, we were like, are we asking our people to be energetic and enthusiastic all the time? No, because that's not how life is. I think in general, sometimes we're being fake if we're enthusiastic all the time. Do you agree with that? Yeah. So what I want to express is that this value of enthusiasm is exactly what I said earlier, is an expression of an inward joy. And it comes out at times. For some of us, it doesn't come out enough because we have wandered. We've got lost in the depths of the world's trappings, whether it's materialism or other things. And we've forgotten what it is to have the joy of the Lord be our strength. We value enthusiasm. We value being in Christ. I found this out. We didn't really look at this part of it when we were choosing this value, but if you look at the word enthusiastic, you see two Greek words, believe it or not. One is en, on, and one that starts theos. In God. So to be enthusiastic, it means to literally be in God. Isn't that cool? In theos, en theos, to be in God. I know that our joy is not always expressed. I know that God is not always out of us because we're human. When we trade the old for the new, there's a beautiful exchange that happens that when we release something to God, that we can gain his character inside of us. The more that Jesus, his character is inside of us, the more that we can be enthusiastic and real to our culture. Let's not be fake here and think that just reading one scripture or choosing to put off one simple thing, that all of a sudden we're going to be enthusiastic and relevant to our culture. The journey of following Jesus means a daily putting off and putting on. I remember as a kid, I was told, if you say this simple prayer, you will be zapped with Jesus' righteousness. All you need to do is jump in this bath of water. That was weird to me, and you will be set. I tell you, the more and more of people have that theology, I think there's a fakeness about it. And I think our churches in the past generations have been infused with a bit of that. I tell you, my generation, and I think all of our generations, are desiring a real sense of who Jesus is and having a real experience of Jesus in us. Of course, we need to repent of our sins and ask Jesus to be in us. And of course, his promise is that he will dwell in us, that his Holy Spirit dwells in us, that the power of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection is availed to us, that we are his temple. There is joy and Jesus in us. The value of enthusiasm is saying it's time to let it out. At NBBC, we value people who understand the joy of the Lord and let it out. So how does this pertain to missional community groups? Well, it's not hard to see that an avenue of letting out your joy is to telling stories and being known, getting known, and knowing the other on your streets, in your neighborhoods, in your community, at your workplace. A few weeks ago, we did a survey with our leaders at a joint leadership meeting. And one of the questions was, make a list of your neighbors. So basically put their names. And a few people struggled with this just because they didn't know the neighbors' names. The next thing was to tell me a little bit about what they do. Do they work, or are they OCD about their front lawn? Or do they have pets that come and visit your lawn? Tell me a little bit about your neighbors. I'll tell you one thing that's more contagious than enthusiasm is critics. You all know that. I know that. When I'm in a group and we're starting to evaluate something, whether it's a workplace or that TV show or whether the game we just played, like volleyball on Wednesday night together. It's so easy to get wrapped up in tearing people down and get critical. Like, this didn't happen. Like this morning, like, I'm frustrated too. There's things that didn't happen correctly. I wonder what it would look like if there was a group of people that God sent here on earth to discover the joy of the Lord and to let it out, to be in God. What does it mean to be in God? Simply, it means to be putting off the old and putting on the new. These are our two values. One of relevance, to be related to. Can everybody say relevant? Now say related to. So that's what relevance is. So when we see this value, it's not about conforming or about being the flashiest church. Of course, we're going to try to do some fun things that make our environment fun and make us invited. But the most important thing about relevant is to be related to. Okay, I want to get that clear. The second value is enthusiastic. Okay, everybody say enthusiastic. Say the joy of the Lord. Let it out. Simply, our value of enthusiasm is to assume the joy of the Lord. And this requires work. It costs us something. And when something costs something to you, it's valued. When something's valued to you, you cannot hold on to it because you need others to share it. Now, something like a truck, a new truck, that sometimes we value, we think we hold on to. We need to hold on to, protect it, and clean it. And of course, these are good things. But when I value something, I want to share it with other people that I love. When you have love in you, joy in you, things that you have to offer your children, you share these things with them because you love them. What a greater example that we have than Jesus Christ, who himself decided not to come to resemble us or to be even relatable to us. He came to be related to us. What an awesome example in Jesus Christ we have of someone who knew God. In fact, he said, if you know me, you know the Father. Himself, he was God. And what an example we have in him of his enthusiasm, of what he valued, that he would share and even be obedient to death on a cross. So Jesus Christ values to be relevant, related to. Jesus Christ values letting out what is on the inside. These are our first two values. Next week we'll continue with the value of authenticity and loving.